Welcome to the Aditot Show, where we dive deep into the minds of movers, shakers, and disruptors. Today, we're pixelating reality with Gary Mittman, the mastermind turning your screen time into a shopping spree. Forget window shopping, we're window clicking our way to the future. So, buckle up, folks, because this episode is about to make your pixels pop and your wallets weep. Let's get ready to pixelate and to know more than you did yesterday.
Deserve to win when it matters most. Facing multi-billion-dollar bet the company litigation? No problem. That's why we're here. Troutman Amin, LLP is a true legal powerhouse.
Welcome to the Aditot Show, where today we're slicing through the hype with Gary Mittman, the CEO of Kurv Interactive. From a high school concert promoter to MTV pioneer to the sultan of the pixel realm, Gary has been anything but predictable. Now he's turning passive viewing into shopping bonanza thanks to Kurv's tech that makes every pixel on your screen clickable. Let's get ready to click through this pixel-powered journey with Gary. No filters, just facts, all Gary. Gary, seriously, how are you doing for real? No tech jargon allowed.
How am I doing? I'm doing great. What do you think? It's the word of bonanza right now. This is a moment in time, an evolution from static imagery, shoppable interactive content, contextual relevance. The world is shifting and we're sitting right in the middle of it.
So what did you have for breakfast today? Was it champion's meal or just your assistant's best guess?
It was a protein shake, to be all honest.
Any recent brainwaves you're dying to share with the world, or are you just saving the good stuff for your memoirs?
Well, that's a good question. I don't really have any genius brainwaves to share with the world. No, sorry. Sorry to be boring.
You've transitioned from rocking live venues to pioneering at Kurv Interactive. What sparked this seismic career shift from the entertainment sector to the tech frontier?
Yeah, it's been an entertaining run. I mean, I produced the first live concert series on the new MTV network at the time. And I seem to continually be at the forefront of things. I was at the front of a couple of other video technologies. And now here with shoppable television, it's kind of a natural, organic evolution. If you think about human beings and their engagement and how they interact with things, it's kind of been the path I've run from the early days of doing infomercials to evolving into shoppable television. I've really seen the evolution grow, and it's been organic.
So how did your stints at the Ritz at MTV sculpt your leadership style at Kurv?
Well, radically different. If you're running a nightclub and you're managing concerts and being the premier club of the 80s, we had all the 80s bands landing in the U.S. first, and we get them because we had the MTV show. We did them 50 million households. So it was a very interesting time. People at that time were different than they are now. The generational difference is pretty extreme. People were far more let's get it done attitude, and rather than more sensitive and feeling oriented, which I think people are today. I think the management styles are radically different because you're dealing with different generations of people, their likes, their dislikes, how they engage, etc.
What's more chaotic, mosh pits or board meetings?
Definitely board meetings.
Why is that?
Mosh pits are easy. Everybody's just bouncing around, throwing each other on top of each other. Nobody has to think. Board meetings, you got to really think. And what you say could be perceived to change your entire direction. So while we had a really great board, I've had my experience historically of fairly tense board meetings where you have to make strong decisions. And many times if you have your VC or your cutting group in there, they like to control and dictate what's going on, so you have to be sensitive to all the variables.
So what do you think the most significant hurdle was transitioning from entertainment to tech?
Well, the transition for me was going from the entertainment media MTV show concert hall events to infomercials, which were the first layer of shoppable television, really. And I think that transition was one that was done because I had produced television, and I knew how to make television. A friend of mine came to me and said, could I do a network? So I produced it, I did it, it did very well. I ended up being a VP in what was then Western Media, and that was Initiative. I was the head of the half-hour division for 5 years. So I think that was really the first transition. And then during that time period, the internet launched, it began, early 90s, and that really sparked my interest. And that's when I transitioned from traditional television to digital and online.
Now, you're in a pretty high stakes environment, but as captain of the Kurv ship, how do you steer through the stormy seas of tech decision making without hitting the icebergs?
Yeah, that's a good question. The key in success, I believe, with companies that are starting out is to be agile. Sometimes what you think is the answer isn't the right one. And you can't be stodgy or fixed on your perceptions on things. You have to be open. You have to really look at things and understand what's happening. You can't be dictating to a client what they need. Well, in fact, they come to you with a different requirement. So you have to be flexible and flow with it, and then find the pieces of the puzzle that work, that are scalable for multiple use.
So, how do you know whether to use your gut instinct or hard data in your decision making processes?
Well, you have to use both. You can't just use one. You have to use the data of the user activity along with your gut and instinct. If you know your industry and you have a good perception or understanding of what's going on out there, you have to stay on top of things. I mean, I read ferociously. I mean, I read so much. It's crazy about articles and information and things going on. We try to stay way on top of things and understand what opportunities are arising, where there are holes in the market, and where we can fill them.
So, does your team get a say in this, or you just keep them around to blame them?
No, in fact, many years ago, I worked at Western Media. My boss, Dennis Holt, gave me a key line that I've kept to this day, which is if you hire people that aren't smarter than you, you don't need them. You got to hire people that know more than you do to leverage the value they bring. So our team is built of superstars. Our CRO, our CIO, our CTO, our CFO are really, really smart. And they're bringing the knowledge and the expertise to help sculpt and really design the direction, the roadmap we're going as a team. It's a transparency. I always say to the team, we're all rowing in the same direction. One person rows out of sync, we're going to go on service.
Has there ever been a person that you hired that you felt just didn't match, and why was that?
Yeah, there have been. There have been people who maybe culturally didn't fit or had an egocentric perspective that they believed they knew everything better, and they weren't able to really be a team player and align with everybody. That doesn't work for me, and for everyone else for that. It's important that people are able to be transparent with the team and work together and align and get to the same goals.
So, has there been a pivotal decision lately that has been a game changer for Kurv, like a hold my beer moment that turned into company lore?
Well, it's been an evolution. I don't think there's one single moment. I think as we've evolved, we started with our patents, our pixel recognition, and making shoppable content. And you saw the low-hanging fruit for that would be ads as the first place to start. So we started with the ad world, agencies and brands, doing online video for shoppable ads. We created our distributable tag that works across programmatic, and that was how we began. As we built that and we launched it, we continually kept our vision with shoppable television and interactive in-show monetization. That continued to be our vision. Along the road, we came to contextual relevance. And we realized that our analysis and analyzing for shoppability also brought what we now call one pass, a multi-layer of value. It brought contextual hide relevance, it brought brand safety, along with shoppability and with people.
So, I want to get into the actual tech and monetizing video content through AI. You're pioneering new revenue streams within shows. How does this wizardry actually work to monetize moments on screen?
It's a great question. So the word moments is a good one. So what we realized is that the consumer is watching shows, right? And not every single scene has value to shoppability or value to contextual relevance. There are moments, and when those moments arise, you need to maximize the value. Those could be a scene with certain people in an event. Those could be a reality show or a cooking event. Those could be other things. So define what those moments are, crystallize it into the minute, which include follow objects, and the sentiment and the content itself for contextual ad block, meaning that next ad slot needs to be relevant. So I think the AI and the evolution of that analysis has brought us to an interesting place.
So how does this actually work for the AI to spot and capitalize these monetizable moments? Is the AI just pausing at its favorite spots?
No, the AI there are multiple cues that the AI identifies as where points are. So it's a very complex analysis that the AI is doing, and you can't describe it in 5 minutes. But
Right.
the evolution of the 7 years of learning that we and teaching that we've done, bringing us to the place of true understanding of what is a moment in content, what is the appropriate use case, is it shoppability, is it actual relevance, what is it? And understanding that has been a real interesting growth of the AI that we've done over the last.
What do you think one of the biggest hurdles was in fine-tuning this tech then?
Getting the networks to understand the logic behind what we do.
What's that?
Everybody has their own perception, right? And many people have different opinions the way things could work. Our concepts and theories from day one were that subscription fatigue will set in. It did. Our perception was that people are going to need, networks are going to need ads to monetize that application. They do. So what we always thought was the in-show monetization or in-show revenue was the supplement. And we find now that the execution of that, many of the networks and platforms have different theories and concepts around where they think should be done. We have ours, and many people have theirs. We recently did a show, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the names, but we did a show recently that was a big reality show, and
Right.
the comedy followed our instructions to a T, and the engagement rate was off the hook. Was 10 times that of what we anticipated.
What type of product?
It was mostly merch for the show itself. So I actually public knowledge. It was Survivor. We did with
Okay.
and we did that in Australia with them as kind of a beta test, and it was crazy. It was off the chart success, and because it demonstrated both to us and to the network that if a consumer's watching and sees a scene that they have interest in, they could pause it and look at the objects that work, and the engagement worked, and people bought stuff. So I think we're all on to the frontier of a new application.
What has been the feedback from clients and viewers on these AI-driven features? Are advertisers throwing money at you, or are the viewers throwing remotes?
The viewers are lifting remotes, and the advertisers are dropping money. So the evolution now is to allow structure and configuration of sponsorship versus multi-application catalogers versus different areas. I mean, obviously, in a single show, there may be content or product that relates to 20 different retailers on one. So it's an evolution to look at what that looks like, how it evolves. There's a lot of theories we have around that and things that we're testing and building. But I think currently what we're seeing for sure is we're a big partner with Walmart, and Walmart working with single shows plus analyzing their enormous catalog to then correlate and matching its products and show for shoppability is work. So I think it's retailers like Walmart works. I mean, obviously, Amazon is doing some things on X-Ray of their own with their ridiculous product suites. So they've got everything under the sun pretty much, so they can match and correlate. But we're finding the evolution of this is going to potentially multi-retailer, single show, evolution of how the structure works.
Have you thought a little bit about the Vizio Walmart partnership and how you guys could integrate with that?
Yeah, we've thought a lot about it.
You want to expand on that?
Not really. Conversations are good. Let's just leave it there.
All right, so you've successfully launched and sold 3 startups. What is the formula for crafting a business with a profitable exit from the get-go?
Not to be a mercenary, but to be a missionary. When you build a business and you're acting as a mercenary, you're building it just to sell it.
Right.
Well, and it's not going to catch fire as well as if you're a missionary with a real solid passion. I think that's the difference. When people go these far out and try to build a business to sell it, I think they're misguided. If someone's building a business with true passion, they know a market, they know a subject, they know an execution, and they know how to deliver that. And I think that really is the core to succeeding in building a business.
So what advice could you give to entrepreneurs who are looking to follow in your footsteps?
Don't follow in my footsteps. Although learn failures I've had.
So what's one thing they can learn from your failures?
Um,
Any back to the drawing board moments that you'd like to share?
Well, there's been many over the years. I'll give you an example. My company, Name Media, that I sold to Min Media, which is now Next.
Right.
We started off that company doing correlation of offline to online marketing. The internet is relatively new, and we were correlating online transactions to media schedules. Because then people were using a URL with a slash something for tracking, and nobody used the slash something. Everybody went to the root domain. So we were doing a geocorrelation against the IPs that hit the web pages, matching them up to the media schedules and defining when something aired and correlate that back to driving revenue. What ended up happening is that the media buying companies loved it because they could identify new media. The product owners hated it because they didn't want the media people to get credit for their online transactions. So we had to pivot. We had to shift. So we quickly shifted into first affiliate and building out an affiliate tracking system. But then as we evolved, the new world of CPC and the overtures of the world were growing out. And we ended up doing a XML CPC syndication platform, which didn't exist. So the world of Yahoo, Overture, Yahoo, Google, all those people were syndicating what are called XML feeds for CPC syndication to both arbitrageurs and networks, sort of anyone. And there was no way to track. So we actually created a platform. We got that. We built it in like a week. And that became the core value of our business that we ended up selling.
So what's next after this latest successful exit? Are you going to take a break, or are you just going to do something else? Is this your last?
I'm a deal junkie. When I sold my last company, I kind of semi-retired a little bit. Right. And my wife was like, "You need to get out of the house. I didn't think you would do something." And quite frankly, it was bored. You know, I've got kids, I love my boys, and all that's wonderful, but I really need to sink my teeth into something and feel the fun of getting it done, the success of doing it. I think half the fun of working is the passion of execution. When you have those wins, when you have those losses, when you have those successes as a team, it's like sports. It's like, you win, and it's a lot of fun.
So today you announced a partnership with Magnite. I think that just came out this morning. It seems poised to turbocharge Kurv's capabilities. What superpowers does this alliance bring to the table?
It's interesting you bring that up. So obviously Magnite is one of the largest players in both online and video, etc. We're working with them in several different ways, providing value to our agencies and brands for media buying, and giving them distribution capabilities for system payments, all the things that make it easy and more efficient. In addition to providing a new solution we haven't launched yet, which is going to need a online on-video ads for contextual relevance within the content itself. So I don't want to get too deep on that because we're not launched yet, but we're going to be doing a very creative application with Magnite, with some other players, some video players that are a new monetization ad unit for the publishers.
How does this partnership align with your strategic goals?
It works brilliantly. I mean, our strategic goals align with all the major players. Not just Magnite. It's really, they're huge and we love them and we're looking to grow the business together. But we also are aligning with the networks and with the fast channels and with other platforms to provide the contextual relevance, the shoppability, brand safety, and the components that the Kurv platform can give.
Were there any challenges that you faced establishing this partnership, and how did you overcome them?
No real challenges. It's the first time we met with them in Cannes last year with a friend of mine to stop with a meeting with some of the senior people. We shared the capabilities we're providing. They saw the value, the shoppable content, and the contextual relevance. They thought it was great. And we started growing the conversations from there. Obviously, dealing with the larger companies, even with our relationship with Disney and NBC, it takes a while to get the contracts done, to go through both the business development and then the legal course. So there's no real hurdles. It's just a matter of time and patience and continuing to keep the vision clear.
Is there any tech that you find really interesting outside of Kurv that you'd like to talk about?
Wow, a lot. I'm really intrigued by holograms. I think the world of holograms is very, very interesting and where that could go. The concept of opening a book and it popping out with a live character in full motion. I think that the virtual helmet, the virtual goggles, and all are a step in the right direction. But I think augmented reality versus virtual reality is far more practical and for more use cases. I've always thought that the VR is fun and always had loves it for gaming and it's fun for me to play with and do stuff. But I do think that augmented reality is where we're going to see much better values, and you start combining augmented reality with holograms and other applications. It starts to really become a very interesting product.
I assume you've thought about your tech and how that works with augmented and virtual reality. Like, do you care to share any thoughts?
We haven't really built something specific, but we have had a lot of testing going. So the idea of the pixel edge recognition of what we do and the AI analysis has many applications, especially in augmented reality. When you start looking at all the different capabilities of a museum, as a simple example, going in and wearing a pair of glasses, punching them in and explaining what you're looking at, or even a visual experience within the glasses themselves. There are many use cases that the analysis can correlate. We're into the user.
What about within gaming?
It is years. The thing with gaming is because it's a complete digital environment and a controlled digital platform, that it's difficult to look at outside components because everything is known, right? So it's a little more difficult. There are some things we've looked at, but I think that's more of a controlled environment where we're dealing with more visual, real world, and that type.
Okay. So getting a little personal, what is your go-to drink? Is it something that screams executive? Are we talking beer can cozy casual?
Well, as my friends would know, historically, I've always been a martini guy. Martini guy, which was red. Lately, I've become a tequila guy. And I'm really into the sipping anejo tequilas. So I think I've become a tequila guy recently.
Yeah, there's a place in Santa Fe. I think it has 150 different tequilas right near the main square. You should try it out if you ever go to Santa Fe. So what's your favorite meal? Is it something Michelin star fancy, or are you keeping it real with takeout?
I'm a sushi guy. I love sushi.
You are so LA. What's your favorite sushi place?
I love it. We had it last night at the family. We went out for sushi.
And what's your favorite place?
We had to go to a place called Boss Sushi in Los Angeles. If you're in LA, check it out. It's great.
And who spins the soundtrack of your life? Who is your favorite artist? I see a guitar back there. Acoustical guitar.
Yeah, I'm a big Hendrix fan. Always have been. Since I'm a kid. I really like Jimi Hendrix. So I do listen to Grateful Dead because I enjoy the stage jams, as they do. But I'm pretty broad in my music portfolio. I like everything from Frank Sinatra to Drake and everything in between. I took my son to see Travis Scott. I'm all over the place. I like everything.
You've ever been in a band?
I mean, yeah, I've been in a couple of bands for years. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think we should really put together like an ad tech band, maybe.
Love to. Let's put it together on it. We could do it virtually.
Or not, or at every event. Maybe you could sell tickets for charity.
There you go.
So spin us a yarn about where you're from. Every superhero has an origin story. What is yours? Let's make it a good one. No pressure. Just your entire personal narrative on the line here.
No pressure. So, born in New York, Queens, New York, Little Life to be specific. Moved to California with my family when I was like 9. Grew up here in Los Angeles, Westwood. And as I grew up, in high school, I started doing concerts on the weekends. Raising out an artery hall, which was 2 blocks from our high school, and promoting concerts there. Did pretty well with it. Started doing more shows. Ended up getting a job in the mailroom at Arista Records under Claude Datas, which was a huge win for me. Big learning experience. What a wonderful man he was. And he promoted me out into music publishing. I got into selling songs. And at that point, my cousin, who's with a legend in the music industry, a guy named Jerry Grant, he opened up a club in New York called the Ritz, and he called me up and said, "You want?" And managed the bookings, all the things going on. always in my 20s. I moved back to New York, ran the club for almost a decade, and we became the premier showcase club. We got the deal with MTV for the Saturday Night Concert Live with the Ritz special. And we grew that out. We ended up selling it to John's share of hologram entertainment. And then we went back to California. And then got a friend of ours who said, can you produce infomercials waiting at just deregulated television? 1990. I said, yeah. So I produced an infomercial called Educate America Today. It was Bill Bixby, the actor, was the host, and it was about a computer system. So I went and spoke to him and walked out with an employment contract to be VP of his half-hour division, and ended up 5 years running a half-hour division in a $1 billion media company. And then the internet began, and I was like, well, that's where I want to be. And then I started building out internet companies from that point forward.
So when you look back, is there any decision that at the time you regretted, but now you're glad you made it?
I don't think I regret any decisions because it got me where I am today. You know, I built successful businesses. I have a lovely family. I live in a great place. My life is pretty darn good. So I don't think I have any regrets or anything like that.
What's the tallest mountain you had to scale, though?
I think the tallest mountain I had to scale is the insecurity of not having gone to college and not having a degree in meetings and business applications with MBAs. Very, very smart, educated, sophisticated people. And it was a hurdle for me to understand that, you know, my knowledge and my instinct and my expertise is something you can't teach in school. And it's something that people are seeking from me. So that became a hurdle that I jumped, but one that was very big.
If you could name one thing that you thought you taught people, what is it, though?
Follow your instinct and go by the golden rule. Do what's right. It'll always win.
What's your vacation postcard say? Favorite country to visit? And at Kurv, what type of hobbies are you dabbling in besides acoustic guitar?
I play well and electric. Mostly my kids. My kids are everything.
Right.
I do most of the things I can with my children.
Is there ever a point where was there ever a point where you didn't spend enough time with your kids?
Where I had enough of my kids?
No, where you just you worked too hard and you realized you spent too much time working. Or has this always been a priority of yours?
It's been a priority. I had my children when I was older. So
Right.
I think I'm with a certain appreciation that the younger person wouldn't have.
That makes sense.
A passion for the love and gratefulness that they are part of my life. So I think I have that luxury of truly appreciating it more than the younger person is struggling.
You want them to get into your career space, or are you going to advise them to get far, far away?
I want them to do what their passion is.
Okay.
My oldest son builds computers and sells them, and he's 12, and he's builds gaming computers, and he's really more amazing. My youngest son is 10 years old, who is as socially capable as any adult. He prefers interacting with adults than he does with kids. Well, I think they'll find their own passion, and I'm here to support that.
So what ambitions are you chasing down like it was the last bus of the night? Is it world domination or just finding the perfect work-life balance on a beach somewhere?
Both. World domination on a beach somewhere.
You feel you can do both?
Well, I think the term world domination is kind of misleading. I mean, I think nobody wants to build a business and be the failure. Everybody wants to build a success. Right? You're in this to do that. So
Right.
we're here to build the leader in our industry to see that. I have done the beach experience, and quite frankly, I get bored now. At what point do you say, okay, enough sitting on the beach, take me back to the mix, you know?
You always have your phone on and your laptop? Are you one of those guys?
24/7 guy. I hate to say it. If you ask people who work with us, they'll say that I answered emails at 3 a.m. my time that are coming from New York.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't tell people this. Now we know that if we send you email at 3 a.m., you're reading it.
No, feel free. I'm a 24/7 guy. I'm obsessed. I like to keep things going.
At what point did you realize, like, you sat down and you're like, wow, this Kurv thing is really amazing?
When I first saw the initial patent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when our partner, Dan Wiedenfeld, brought the patent to me. He's been my best friend for 30 years. Brought the patent to me and said, hey, this is in your space. What do you think of this? And I said, holy cow, if this really works. If we can identify objects under pixel edge and unique shape in product, in video, to make shoppable interactive, that's hugely powerful. if this works, this is a win. And so that moment for me is when I got it. When I saw the vision of the whole thing, where it's heading now.
Do you think other people are getting it?
Oh yeah,
Has there been any?
they have to. It's not they have to because
Right.
static ads are great for branding and work, but we need to have that engagement to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? The ad itself should be shoppable, interactive. The consumer should be able to purchase. Why would you run an ad where you don't give the consumer a chance to engage? That's a wasted impression. You have the opportunity for them to interact. Then take it up a notch to the content itself. Make it shoppable. How many times everybody watching this video has at some point or another sat in watching a show and said, ooh, where can I get that shirt? Or, wow, that lamp is really cool. How can I get that? Everybody's had that experience. We're here to make it a reality and facilitate it.
Right. So, who's been your Yoda to your Luke Skywalker in this tech saga?
Overall or a curve?
In general, in your career saga.
Steve Jobs is a big influence on me. And not that I've known him, I didn't know him.
Right.
But I constantly catch these videos that pop up of him saying kind of the insightful things and really, really smart reception. I recently saw one where he was talking about when people come up with a vision and then give that vision to their team and expect the team to deliver. It doesn't work because you have to follow through. You have to carry the ball across the entire experience and every layer of the process. And I think that's so true. People lose that sensibility.
Do you think shoppable media will become the standard?
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's inevitable. I mean, if you have an opportunity for a consumer to interact and engage and shop the content they're looking at, again, why would you not make that available to them? The good news is if it's the technologies and things we're looking at, it's not interruptive. It's user curated. The user generates the interest. The user does the experience and does it on their own, not forcing down their throat. So the consumer goes and clicks and interacts. That's their choice. They're choosing to do that. We're not forcing anything on them.
Before we go, I always like to ask people, if you could send yourself a text message to yourself when you started in this industry, what would you tell yourself?
Build a contextual CPC bid engine.
Just from the start, that's it?
And just like that, we've pixelated our way through another episode of The Atatat Show, this time with Gary Mittman, the man turning your lazy screen time into an interactive shopping spree. Whether you're clicking on a couch, car, or cat in a commercial, remember every pixel packs a punch, or a purchase. A huge shout out to our sponsors, Troutman Amin LLP, for keeping the lights on and our lawyers busy. And thank you, Gary Mittman, for reminding us that there's always room for a little innovation, even if it means making every pixel on your screen shoppable. That's all for today. Stay curious, stay bold, and know more than you did yesterday.